Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's been a hot minute. I want to address quite a few things because it plays into today's video. And this is something I'll do every now and then because we're talking about the 10 life values. Some of the best things that ever came about to put some direction and focus into our lives as men, especially. And excuse me. And quite a bit has happened since I've done some videos as of late. Actually, I got a new phone, so hopefully this is a lot more clear. My last phone was a little bit janky, I'll say. It wasn't a Obama flip phone, but it was just raggedy nonetheless. And the reason I took the hiatus initially is I took a look at where I was in initial stages, and with me being more of a perfectionist, I didn't like the presentation in a sense. I can use some terms and do my own thing, but the thing is, for me, I have a certain way to convey my messages to get to the point. Try not to lose anybody, not to disrespect anybody's intelligence. It's just I don't want to get into these blind rants and express the numerous things that swim in my head. I gotta have direction and focus when it comes to presentation. So that's part of the reason why I have a clipboard in my notes. That way I can stay on point, take care of business, and basically make the most of my time and yours. I'm looking to be an effective content creator versus a conflict creator that just ranting and raving and just being a waste of space. That's just my personal opinion on that. Now, before I go to the second point, you already know the deal. Click on the code RONIN10. Be a part of A-Game Lifestyle. So we're talking about your vitality, energy, strength, and libido. It's more than just a pill for self-serving means and agenda. It's a lifestyle, which we'll go into the coming weeks, months, and so on. And I want to send a mad shout out to my A-Game family. Definitely, I have an immeasurable amount of love and respect for them, which brings me to why I'm doing what I'm doing at this point. And what I tend to do forward from this point, which is point number 2, I've been looking to understand the nature of the game. I've been kind of somewhat freelancing at things, looking to just go from the top of the dome, which works in certain situations, but in most cases, if you don't have a sense of professionalism and direction, it can go awry real quick, which is why I'll be entering things as far as like public speaking courses, learning some things on and offline, speaking to others in order to how to add precision and present a better presentation of myself out here. That's some of the many things I'm looking to do in this journey as a YouTuber and podcaster. And working on being a better version of myself, as I say, because I'm not looking to just talk about it. I'm not looking to be about it. And the third issue I want to address personally is in correlation to what happened on Saturday night. And I'm not proud of what took place. I'll definitely say that. There was a lot of uncharacteristic things that came about, especially myself, which I'm not proud of. But in all respects, I believe it needed to happen because there's a lot of things and a lot of ways that this space is allowed to happen to reflect who we are as men, especially. We allow petty issues, a lot of unresolved situations and tensions to be held within before it blows over like Mount Vesuvius. And that's what some individuals find appealing about this space, unfortunately, much to our detriment. The comedy hour is meant to be a place where we can just do verbal jousting. intellectual sparring because we use creativity to do things. The roasting part, it helps you build a sense of resolve, confidence, show how clever people are. A little bit of mental acuity, in a sense. Because you have to have a sense of wit, just to be sharp with things. And that's what I've learned when I was in high school. I used to be real quiet. And an individual that got roasted Saturday, I wouldn't exactly run, the things got personal. I happened to be that guy back then in high school. And I would use art as my means of stress relief, creativity, and outlet. And it got to the point where I was in that house and I was upset about it, so I tried to clear my head. And then, I remember telling the story, just when I looked up in the sky at that time, that moment, there was a flash of lightning, and then it hit me. I knew I had a creative idea among many. So using that situation as inspiration, I spent, I don't know how many hours. I know I got about 4 hours of sleep, but I woke up ready to present my defense, in a sense. And some guys I went to school with, we didn't talk about it in passing, but there was a guy that me and him weren't too fond of each other, I don't think. And I basically use a lot of his deficiencies as a creative ways of fighting back. And of course, he had some extra meat around his neck, so we kept calling him Triple Neck. So I made him into a character that used his neck to get out there, bust holes through walls, fight cops, knock cars over, break into banks, or he uses a shoe which was unusually thicker than the other ones. So I used that as a weapon, where he would use that to bludgeon heroes and anti-heroes alike. Whenever he escaped, he'll wrap a neck around a telephone pole or something, then swing away. All kind of goofy stuff. And in many ways, you felt initially good because you had a sense of standing up to yourself in a creative way. And a lot of people that used to sit there and laugh at you, they gained respect, in a sense. But with great power comes a great responsibility. And that leads me to Saturday night, where I actually doxed myself intentionally. And it wasn't much as the individual I was doxing myself to was a catalyst for it, but it was the match that set the whole fireworks store on fire. There's other things that built up to that, but that was the match that set everything off. Dealing with Gino Richardson personally, I only know him as an internet individual. I made a video about him, and I let it be known who he was and how he portrayed himself was a matter of choice, in so many words. Because of his stubborn nature in many ways, it's one of the many things that pisses me off, because I hate to see brothers be a certain way, but it gets to a point where I just say, fuck it. If you want to stay that way, then cool. It's a choice, in spite of wanting to see better out of people. And that was part of the frustration. But the other part was internal, which is why I titled this the Spiritual Dojo Session, because in many ways, as men, if we're looking to be better and acquire wealth, which is the last of the 10 life values, you got to fight and win that war within yourself. I allowed my ego, in a sense, to get out of control. And usually when I get upset, I readily remove myself from the situation, knowing that there's a foul side of myself that entertains the conflict, but it goes too far because of past hurts, traumas, damn near life-threatening situations, more than I can count in my hands and my feet. You have a sense of hypervigilance. Now, unfortunately, that's what I tend to submit to sometimes, especially in a public setting. I can never sit with my back exposed. But What happened Saturday night was something I got on up to. And it was a needed teaching moment, not just for my peers, but mainly for ourselves who represent A-Game Nation. We said this is a lifestyle. We made sure to have a conversation about it and do understand that we're not above reproach. We never been. But to see ourselves in that light, that was not only humbling, but an opportunity to show people in real time what real growth is and is happening, what's needed. Which leads me to the fourth part of this conversation, what I'm going to close with. And I'm going to say this respectfully. The Black manosphere is under new management, regardless of feelings, egos, and whatnot, because of all this time. And I've been here since 2007-8. I've had a few channels, some I just lost count of, but they were never affected because I was too busy in my rage stage or just the process of things, and I moved on to podcasting. But I've always been a part of it. We're going to ensure that systems, order, and structure and the 10 life values reflect, maintain, and provide fluidity in this space and beyond. Regardless of what certain people will feel, what they may think, they can ask questions, but they need to understand how things were ran back then has not done shit for us. And I dare any individual to tell us that we moved the needle forward in these last almost 20 years of this space being around. This isn't a whole thing about internet dick slinging and claiming to be anything that we're not, because we're flawed individuals aspiring to make a difference and pushing with the initiative to use both SOS and the 10 life values to be the initial and intentional curse breakers. Because I don't know about any of you, but I'm sick and tired of this shit. And the lie that we say that we're living experiencing progress. I don't see it. In many ways, I see us getting progressively worse. And what I saw last night was a reflection of what I've seen over time, because I've seen this cycle happen time and time and time and time again, which is why you see a number of solid content creators veer off elsewhere, or just throw their hands up, or they sit back and like, you know what, what's the point? We have to be the currency, the current behind the currency. Shout out to my brother the Bishop and to my brother Sheep Stay Sleep. We have to heal before we build. And what happened this Saturday night, number one, I didn't feel any pleasure in that. Number two, I knew exactly when I looked at the chat room, when I looked at the environment, what was happening, and seeing that I was a contributor to something that was counterproductive. I heard him got my ass off, because that is not who or what representatives of A-Game are about. Hence why I'm doing the video. You're hearing it from me personally. I take full accountability and responsibility for what took place. Now, granted, much love to my brother, She Stays Sleep. It's like, yes, I should not have allowed certain things to happen. I get his point, and that may be true. However, as a military veteran and as a brother who's looking to see the best out of his peers and beyond, anyone in a certain position is not able to see everything. That's the part of brotherhood. Not only to ensure our brothers are on point, but we have to look and see dangers unseen. Keep each other abreast on situations to where they have things to focus on as well. We have to play our part to make sure that our brothers stay upright. Even when they fall, you got to encourage them to get back up and get forward And as much as I taste the blood on my tongue throughout this weekend, it's nothing personal to Gino Richardson. I will crack jokes, but I gotta be more accountable of how I treat my peers, regardless we may see each other at the time being. I don't really have anything personal towards that Gino Richardson other than how he carries himself that I find more disappointing. I would aspire to see you work on the internal 5, because your actions in the past and even up to date, all that tells me is an individual who is not understanding who they are when they look in the mirror. I can say this because I was in that position not too long ago, especially around the year 2009 all the way to 14, which I had to take a 4.5 year hiatus to find myself. There's some things I'm still working on as we speak, as far as like dwelling in family, which there'll be a handful, but I do have my brothers and loved ones in the A-Game Nation to help me with that journey. Things I need to amend, things I need to fix, but there comes a point where I had to do the heavy lifting on my own. Not also self-serving means, but they are not going to coddle me to the point where I'm crippled. They'll be there when I need them, as people I learn to trust, people that I do appreciate, people that motivate me and ensure that the best of me is yet to be revealed, which I express the same thing to them, which is why I hold dear to my A-Game Nation family with all that I am. And as I said, there will be new policy in this space. We're going to become more active listeners. We're going to be more active in the lives of others and meet them where they are. So that way we can establish trust, as my brother Chief Stay Sleep eloquently put out there today. We have to have trust in order to create trust with our brothers, in order to facilitate a trust of economic strength and wealth and restoration. This is one of many ways that we can become the curse breakers that we were intended to be. And we will not settle for less. All the internet talk shows that lead us to nowhere, all the goofiness, everything has its place. But if that is the mainstay of certain individuals, I personally believe you serve no purpose here. That's my thought. Because we have a time for entertainment, to get some levity and take the pressure off. But let's be straight up. As men, we have some fucking work to do, myself included. So with that being said, I want to send a shout out to my peers, my people, because this is our time. And I could not start work today without even getting this off my chest, because I value my word. If I say something, I have to do it. Otherwise, I will feel some kind of way, unaccomplished, feel like I'm full of shit. So if I'm willing to put my hand in the air to take accountability of what I'm supposed to do, that's what I meant to do. I have to be a better podcaster. I have to be a better YouTuber. I have to be a better brother. I have to learn to make myself more available than become a social hermit that silently extends the middle finger to people who may be in need. I'd make myself more available, which is something I will do. And I expect my peers, and especially those who I hold dear and respect, to hold me accountable to that, because that is the glue that will make us better as not just men, but an accomplished society. Thought culture will be removed eventually, if we will it to be. But the first thing we have to do is stop making it easy to monetize mediocrity and celebrate ourselves as the acculturated prostitutes that we are. We had to get back on our purpose, stay true to the mission, and when you see your brother falter, pull them to the side, help them to get right, give them time to grow. There's nothing between me and Gino, and I'm saying that publicly. Now, at that moment, I had to stop myself because I knew when Gino opened the door for something drastic to happen, I found it too tempting to be on some bullshit. So that's why I use humor the way I do in many ways, because for their safety and my sanity, I had to find levity. I have to laugh certain things off because admittedly there's things I still deal with, and I had to approach it in a very sound fashion rather than being a emotional wreck that will present nothing more than collateral damage and self-destruction. So there's nothing between us, Gino, but if you choose to do what you do, I only respond accordingly, but I'm going to make it a point to not respond in the way that I thought I would. Outside of self-defense, whatever happened between me and you, it's a dead dish. It's a dead issue. I'll leave it there. But from here on out, you understand this will be a staple to keep me on point, manage my time. This is the longest video because I need to get a lot of stuff off my chest, because if I don't, it's going to come out in a way that is not constructive. So it is my responsibility as not only a content creator, at least a new one, and a man of purpose and principles on and offline. I got to continue that and protect my reputation at all costs. That and that of my peers. Because I'm not accountable just for myself, but I'm accountable how I represent them. So that's it for me for right now. I feel a lot better now. But any comments, questions, suggestions, you can hit me up at genuineoracle75@gmail.com. And looking forward to getting things solid from here on out. And ready for the growth, the journey, because it is time. So salute to you all. Salute to A-Game Nation. And as always, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. Peace.